Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzii and today we are going to be reacting to another casual geographic video, man. This time called When Nature Gets a Little Too Creative. Now guys, I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. Without further ado, let's react to this thing, man. Let's go. What is that?
Not that bad, I can explain. That is a baby estrelid finch, and yeah, that's what they're supposed to look like. This is what they look like all grown up. Those markings help the parents decide which chicks to feed and which chicks to let die. And that's because some birds will lay their egg in the nest of another and let the other bird raise their baby. In fact, you know the first four letters of the word cuckoo? This is where that term comes from. Cuckoo. So those specific markings help the mother avoid feeding a chick
that looks like an alien, bro.
And oftentimes, it's a chick with the brightest markings that gets the most food and attention from the parents.
Okay.
It's not racism, but it's in there.
Yeah, it's close. It's a racismo, no?
To feed themselves, the birthmarks start to fade away. Only problem is some brood parasite chicks have evolved to have similar markings to the others, which tricks the parents into feeding them as well, which usually screws the other demigorgons in the nest in the process. Because sometimes evolution means you just get cuckooed, but you know, with the O silent. Moral of this video, work smarter, not harder. Here's a quick vision test. You have 3 seconds to find it, starting now.
That's 2 moths. That's 2 different moths.
If you counted 3 snakes, you're wrong, because those aren't snakes, that's actually a moth.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's an atlas moth.
Come on, man.
They're almost 10 inches long. They're one
they
of the largest ones out there. They're one of those animals nature told to f off, because in their adult form, they can't eat because they don't have a mouth.
Yeah, they
Once
can't.
they're fresh out the cocoon, they only live off whatever fat
they're beautiful, though.
Their only purpose in life is to make more of themselves and nothing more. Which is why nature's Xerox will just sit in one spot and wait for a male to come along and do his part, just so the female can lay her eggs and die. These moths have at best 2 weeks before their expiration.
Yeah,
since flying around and wasting energy only speed runs them through life, they just find a nice spot and sit there and move as little as possible. So to protect themselves and eventually the eggs they lay, they use their wings to cosplay as snakes to scare off anything that could be a threat. By the time their life trial ends, their eggs are ready to hatch and continue the generational jihad that is their existence. If God has favorites, this moth ain't one of them.
No. Don't scroll, I can explain.
It's not what it looks like, but it might be worse. It's actually a marine bristleworm called a polychaete. This deep-sea worm was pulled from the bottom of the ocean by a fisherman who swore his demonic garden hose was smiling. The worm then proceeded to turn its face inside out. And that's because what looks like its head is actually a retractable pharynx. By the way, that's where yours is. These worms will regurgitate their own pharynx and then push them out their mouths to grab food and then suck it and whatever it caught right back in.
Nah, man, that's
worms are scavengers, meaning they eat all the things you would normally flush down a toilet. Now this is the part where I tell you they're not as bad as they look and they're completely harmless to humans. They bite when they feel threatened, and the bristles can penetrate your skin like cactus spines. Since the spines can be difficult to remove by hand, it can lead to an infection if you don't get them out. Also, they can grow to 2-3 feet long and sometimes
holy
shit! All that while looking like an uncircumcised paralysis demon. Have you ever heard of the headless chicken monster? Because if you haven't, I can guarantee it's not what you think. This is a Nypniastes, and it's actually a type of deep-sea cucumber. And when I say deep, I mean you'd have to dive up to 16,000 feet just to see the aquatic prolapsed anus in its natural. But if you ever dive that deep, the V would become silent because the water pressure would evict your lungs out of your mouth and turn your skeleton into paper mache. But the headless chicken has no bones and therefore no worries. They range in size from about 4 to 10 inches. How long it actually is depends on whether it's a man or woman measuring. If it's a guy with the ruler, it might magically gain an extra 2 inches. They're able to use those wings to swim above the ocean floor, which they do to avoid predators. Also, a lot of them are bioluminescent. It
looks like an alien, man.
If you harass them too many times, their entire body lights up. And the reason is, even though it exposes itself to the entire ocean,
the ocean is mad, you know. The ocean is mad.
Basically, if it goes down, it's taking you with it, which is pretty creative considering most cucumbers
just eat a sea cucumber and a jellyfish and a baby.
Security blanket.
And that
the more you know.
I do not care. The blobfish
is
ugly in any form.
So let me see if I got this right. You and me, we do a collab together. We make a nice little video, you know, for the people, and then you turn around and slander my child?
Shout out Lindsay, man.
This thing looks like an anxiety attack.
Damn.
Looks like ADHD on DMT.
What?
It's an identity crisis come to life. That is the look of an animal tragically unaware of its purpose in the world. Can someone please explain to me how a fish that lives underwater still manages to find a way to have chapped lips? And for an animal with no hair follicles, why do I still get the feeling he has a receding hairline? Should have receded back into Satan's wet dream where it came from. It looks like the after picture in an anti-drug commercial. Also, it's a fish without scales. That's how I know it's a rough draft come to life. It looks like what happens when the post and draft buttons are way too close to each other. The telescope fish can swallow animals bigger than itself thanks to its stomach, but I still can't stomach the fact that this is an actual living entity. I'm only roasting this fish because it lives nearly 10,000 feet, like 30 Statues of Liberty underwater in the armpit of the ocean. Me flaming it's the only warmth this LSD guppy's ever gonna get. Also, the way they reproduce is by non-guarding pelagic spawning, meaning they just spunk it up in the ocean and hope it hits the right thing. Like a degenerate. Also, blobfish only look like that when you kidnap them from their home.
True.
This thing looks like Nemo's paralysis demon 24/7.
Oh.
I didn't want to do any of this, but you clearly did. This animal's proof that nice guys
Baboon,
don't
baboon,
always
baboon,
finish last.
baboon.
This is a gelada baboon.
Yep.
It's the world's most intimidating vegan, and they can roll in groups of up to 600. That is a gelada baboons. And usually it's the biggest, meanest monkey that earns the right to mate with all the females
that's
in the area.
mad, you know.
But researchers found that oftentimes
bands
females will
the
step
size
away
of
to
your
couple
brain.
the less aggressive, lower-ranking beta males. Now,
joking.
if they get caught, it gets ugly for everyone involved. So to avoid getting
Bro,
found
about
out,
this
geladas
size,
will
though.
suppress the mating noises they usually
Fucking
make to
hell.
avoid drawing
That's
attention to
huge.
themselves. Since these geladas will typically make these loud cries in the act, you know it's the quiet couples that be doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. I don't think that just applies to monkeys, but that's besides the point. The beta male will only fix the female's plumbing when he's at least 70 feet away from the dominant male.
Okay.
Researchers also found that cheating couples that were caught and confronted ended up doing it again but being more secretive about it. And it turns out
Wow.
females are starting to lose interest in the hyper-aggressive alpha macho males and paying more attention to the nicer, respectful beta males.
Damn!
So we could easily not be talking about monkeys here. And apparently these nicer males will do things like groom her and even babysit the children of other monkeys just to earn her approval.
Okay.
Moral of this video, can't call it simping if it works. This panda finessed
Talk your
everybody
talk,
that pretended
mate.
to be pregnant, and here's how. Pandas are horrendously bad at being themselves.
They are.
So when a panda gets pregnant,
It's
the
a
zoo will
bear
do
that
everything
cannot
in its power to
bear,
make
bro.
sure the little panda fetus lives
They
long
have
enough to actually
huge
be born.
fangs
So when
and
a
eat
panda
nothing but
research
leaves,
base
bro.
is expecting, she gets her
Bamboo,
own
but you know what I
air-conditioned
mean,
room,
and
24/7 care, and extra fruits, bamboo, and buns.
Yep.
And when a 6-year-old female was expected to add another panda to the population, they did a live broadcast just so people could watch. Because I guess some people are into that. Except it never happened. She was never pregnant. Even though for 2 months she had all the signs of being pregnant, including eating more and moving around less. Some experts believe these barcode bears will purposely continue these pregnancy behaviors if they notice it gets some special attention. And with her quality of life improving, she
They
wasn't
like
about to
that, yeah?
In her defense, there is a reason for this. Pandas have one of the shortest windows to get pregnant. I think it's
They
something
do.
like 72 hours out of the whole year.
Yep.
Like out of 365 days, pandas only have one long weekend to get it done. Since pandas have such a small opportunity to have kids, they'll prepare for a baby just in case. Which doesn't really cost them much because again, preparing just means eating more and doing less.
Yep.
So what people think happened is that hormones made the she panda instinctively get ready for a baby that wasn't there. But when she realized the world was better to her when she did, she just kept it up. I can't say I blame her, I've seen people lie worse to get less.
This is why you don't fly drones in Australia.
Magpie! Or an owl. It's a magpie! Hey man, get
One
the
of the
fuck
biggest
up out of
threats
here,
to an
bro.
Australian way of life is the wedge-tailed eagle.
Oh,
They're the
okay, I
largest
thought it
birds
was
of
a
prey
mag-
down under and can have a wingspan of 7.5
Wedge-tailed eagle,
which
okay.
makes this bird a Yao Ming long.
Damn.
One of these steroid tweeties allegedly had a wingspan of over 9 feet, and I'm only saying
Wow.
allegedly for my own mental health. They're insanely territorial and will attack virtually anything with a pulse. That includes this man's $80,000 drone that got
Damn.
falcon punched out of the sky. That's an NYU tuition's worth of drone that got put in a pack. These birds have been known to run fades with sheep, kangaroos, dingoes,
Wow.
18-wheelers,
No, my main
children.
rules, man.
There wasn't
Leave
a
them
picture,
alone,
nobody'd
bro.
ever believe it. And if
Nah.
you ever go paragliding in Australia, just know you're playing Russian roulette with a shack-sized
That's
Jurassic
facts.
reject. Moral of this video, Australia is just Satan's jungle gym.
It is.
If I gave you 100 guesses, you still
Oh
probably wouldn't guess the animal that cost
my-
this man his leg. So the story goes, in 2014, a wild animal was terrorizing a local village and charging
Holy
at anyone that got too close.
shit.
While trying to capture it, officials chased the panicking animal onto the property of this
bear?
man, Juan Chi. The animal immediately attacked him, brutally mauling him and at one point crushed his
Sloth
right
bear,
leg in his
probably.
jaws. Juan described the mauling as easily the most painful thing he had ever experienced in his life. Villagers were able to get the beast off him, and the man was rushed to the hospital where he underwent 7 hours of surgery to save his leg, which looked like it was hanging on by a thread. Even after 8 surgeries and months in the hospital, Juan was told that there was a chance his leg would still have to be amputated. All that because he picked the wrong day to be near a panda. Yeah, a
panda?
panda did this. Side note, I feel like y'all forget that panda bears are still very
Holy
But
shit.
what you might not know is because pandas spend 10 to 16 hours of their lives eating bamboo every single day, they have some of the strongest jaws of any mammal.
I knew that.
For reference, it's the same reason
Look at
gorillas
that.
technically have a stronger bite than grizzlies. And it's why a motivated panda can make your arm see-through. And because bears usually go for the lower body, panda fades have resulted in torn ligaments, broken ankles, broken legs, and even ruptured tendons. Moral of this video, never trust an animal with the color scheme of the
Nah,
barcode,
man.
they're usually
If it's
on
Oreo, don't
Friendly
trust
reminder
it.
that no matter how bad life gets, you will never be this snail. This is Jeremy. Jeremy was a
Jeremy!
garden snail with a mutation that made his shell coil to the left instead of the right. And because his organs were also in the wrong direction, he couldn't mate with other snails. And scientists spent years, like actual years, trying to find another lefty snail so Jeremy wouldn't have to die alone. There was even a viral hashtag lefty snail to help find Jeremy
Lefty
another.
snail.
Eventually they found 2 possible options, one from England, one from Spain, all with the same 1 in a million lefty mutation. But then the two snails ignored Jeremy and started mating with each other.
Nah!
In people's terms,
Why
it's
they
like
do
the
my
Bachelor
boy
and
Jeremy
Dinner
like
that
that?
he wasn't invited to. The two snails made about 300 babies together, and Jeremy was responsible for exactly none of them. Eventually, Jeremy was able to find another partner, and this time he did make it to the end zone.
Let's go.
Then he died, and none
No.
of his 56 alleged children had his mutation. I say alleged because it turns out his partner actually made it with snails before him, so we have no way of knowing how many of the children were actually his. Rest in peace, Jeremy, because God
Rest in
knows
peace,
he ain't
man. So there you have it, guys. That was one of the most interesting videos I've ever seen from Casual Geographic, man. The disgusting creatures, the wild eagle, the panda attack, mad. But yeah, guys, rest in peace, Jeremy. You the go, man. You the go. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Before you go, though, don't forget that we had videos on this channel, man. Come on, bro. Keep God first, as always. Drink water, go tell somebody you love them, and if you're here, you know what to do, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Gonzii, and see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.